going on, guys? My name is Zed, and I have never seen Indiana Jones. So this will be the final episode of this series, as I will be watching Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now, I don't own it, but it is on Netflix, so let's get into it. Now, since I don't own the disc, nor is there any cool selection scene, I don't have any of the little insert scenes to put into the video, but I will say, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull might be my second favorite Indiana Jones movie. I really enjoyed this one. I do think there are a handful of justifiable critiques, but overall, I thought it was a fucking fun time. I'm a big fan of Shia LaBeouf. I think he's a great actor, one of the best working today, and he was great. I thought, at the beginning, I did feel like there was a bit, his character was a bit overzealous, a bit too, he's kind of a punk, a bit trying to be too cool. But they found a really great middle ground with his character, especially with his relationships with Oxford, Indiana Jones, and his mother. Spoiler alert, Marion, which I saw coming a mile away. They definitely found his character during the second act, I would say. So, a few critiques. A few of my own personal critiques. One largely being Indiana Jones, when he is told the stories of the Crystal Skull and the lost city of El Dorado and all these different, things, he takes them as stories. He's saying like, oh, those are just folklore, those are just stories, like that's nothing of that is true. I've looked for it myself, couldn't find it. There's been, hundreds, thousands of people before me and after me who tried to look for it. It doesn't exist. Dr. Jones says this in every single movie. Every single time he is given a task, a new exploration, a new adventure to go on, he completely dismisses all of the stories and all of the facts that are known about it. And I get it. Behind every great intellect is a skeptic. I understand that. There's plenty of things that I believe in that first and foremost I have to be a skeptic. When it comes to the paranormal, when it comes to cryptozoology, when it comes to aliens, I'm a believer in a lot of these things. But you have to be a skeptic first. You can't just assume right off the bat that something is truthful just because you've heard it in a story. Or, even if you experience something firsthand, there might be a, rhyme or a reason why it happened. But I feel like Dr. Jones has been through so much over his years, not to mention, the movies we actually saw, but all of the other adventures he went on. I mean, they talked about 30 or 40 other adventures and missions he went on that we never saw. You'd think this man would be a bit more understanding that maybe everything is not as it seems. But I digress. I still enjoyed the hell out of it, and quickly, obviously, Indiana Jones becomes more of a believer. I would say Cate Blanchett's character was kind of mediocre. I didn't feel as if she was really that big of a threat. And that has to go with all of her other, minions. It seems like a lot of the villains in these movies just aren't great. I think the best one might have been in The Last Crusade, but again, not much of a threat. This movie does rely heavily on its use of CGI, and there are some moments where it's so good, it took me a second to realize, is this CGI? Yes, no, I can't tell. But then there's others, like the very famous, Shia LaBeouf swinging through the jungle on vines, and then the sword fight between himself and Cate Blanchett's character, which are very noticeably CGI and can come off as a bit awkward to watch. I will say, the sequences that are like that, the heavily CGI sequences, I thought would be a lot worse. They're not bad. If the CGI was just that much better and it felt like the characters were actually acting on moving vehicles, because there's actually a scene in this movie where you can tell it's two stunt doubles fighting, and it's an actual like shot sequence, and that looks great. If you shot all of your close-ups with your actors and then on a set on a soundstage, and then shot a lot of your far away, or not your far away, the shots that the distant shots with your stunt people on actual moving vehicles, that would have made for such more of an immersive experience and a much better fight, because there were certain shots that were real shots and not shot on a green screen, but the ones that are shot on a green screen are just entirely too noticeable. But there are plenty of CGI shots in this movie that look great. When it comes to the giant man-eating ants or certain things with the waterfalls, those shots look great. They really, really do. They look awesome. But there are a good handful where you're like, Spy Kids, okay. Overall, this story was really compelling. I thought it was really cool. You have all these artifacts, that has to do with religions and such like that. And I thought it was cool to take religion elsewhere, not focus on, the, very common religions like Christianity and such like that, and more focus on maybe a interdimensional religion with aliens. And I know a lot of people didn't like that, and I guess for me, I didn't grow up with the Indiana Jones movies, so watching them over 1 week, I kind of have a different feeling about what an Indiana Jones movie should be, or how I want it to be. So I understand when you go from all of these three very grounded as they could be movies, and then take it to aliens, it's a bit of a jump. So I get how off-putting that can be. Personally, I liked it, and I loved let's just call it the throne room with all of the skeletons of the aliens. That throne room was gorgeous. Gorgeous. Whoever got to design that set, they must have had so much fucking fun, because so many intricate details went into that. And then not to mention all the different crystal skeletons they had to make. Those were really cool. So overall, is the CGI a bit distracting in this movie? Yes. But overall, I think the story is really well done. I love the integration of the new characters and old. And the ending made me happy. I was really happy to see Indy end up with Marion, as I think that's what should have happened all the way at the beginning. And I hope in Indiana Jones 5 they bring back Marion, and they bring back Indy Jr., because I liked him. I did. One thing that I will note right at the very end before I give my rating, the entire movie I thought Shia LaBeouf's character name was Mud. And then right when the credits rolled, I read his name was Mutt. How did I hear Mud the entire movie? I don't know. But Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Alright, that is it. I have finally watched all 4 of the Indiana Jones movies, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the movies, and I'm looking forward to the 5th installment. But I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And until next time, guys, I'll be seeing you later. Peace.